to me by this being. It was unclear what transpired, but I knew something had happened. Remembering began at 11 or 12. I recognized soon that sharing it was bad, so I kept it to myself. 25 to 30 years later, the being I sat with reappeared and said the same thing. They taught me how to cure myself and others. Now I do that. Connecticut, New England, is my birthplace. I was raised normally. I was never religious. My parents never took me to church. Everything came from my experience. I learned from my near-death experience that God is a feeling, a frequency that I can embody. Utilize that. They taught me after the being returned years later. I believed I was insane when everything became crazy. As a regular person, I thought my 4-year-old encounter was merely a memory. That changed quickly. Now I'm quantum healer. I use quantum entanglement to heal mental and physical disorders worldwide. A car ran over me when I was riding my big wheel, a plastic bike for a tiny child. I drove this 3-wheeled large wheel out the neighbor's driveway, leaving the neighbors and going home. After leaving, my brother called me from across the street to come over and go to the mall. The mall, like Disneyland, was my favorite. I went right between 2 parked automobiles, unaware, being a kid, into oncoming traffic. A car ran over me then. I was only saved by my automobile, which got caught under the back tire. I experienced a blur. Coming down the driveway, I gaze at myself. My eyes roll in the back of my skull, and the screen fades like a movie's ending. I'm seated with my back to the door, visibly leaning on someone. I wondered, what happened? Who is this, with my head down and leaning to my side? I see hair almost touching the ground when I open my eyes. Long silver, almost luminous and almost touching the ground, uncommon. I see a darker robe bottom. I turn to inquire, who is this? And see a light entity with no face and a hooded cloak. I sat there looking and asked the entity what happened. They say, Stephen, you were in an accident. Put your head down. Everything's going to be all right. So I do. I'm still thinking. I didn't speak, simply observation of irregularities. The creature says, put your head down. Everything's going to be all right. I oblige, and as I look at the being's face, and they soothe me, I feel myself getting drawn into this light. I glimpse a scene when pulled far enough. First, flowers and greenery. Meadows upon meadows, the most magnificent nature sight you can imagine. I see the colors moving independently. I understand they're sacred, with so many living flowers, hues I've never seen, and energy. Being alive didn't compare to her heft and heaviness, I realized. My understanding comes from being there and feeling it. All done. Look at this meadow scene, these flowers, and these colors moving through the air. The route has characters playing in the distance. Though far away, they're close when I attempt to be close. Hard to define because they were close but far. As I watch, an elderly man and a tiny daughter play. She laughs, and this energy moves through the air and atmosphere and reaches my heart because I'm standing there in this moment, watching and looking at everything. I understood immediately that everything was one, that this was love, that everything came from it, and that everything would return to it. The story with creation was more theater-like in between. I was feeling those vibes, yet I knew there could be no pain, suffering, or hate, so pure that it couldn't vibrate high enough to generate any function. Over time, I realized I was interpreting energy. These memories would take time to unravel later. I would hide and keep them as they came. After returning it, everything opened up. Because it felt so amazing, I tell the being I want to stay or go here. And the entity says, it's not your time. We have other things to show you. The screen switches, and I'm in a different scene. I'm in this room, maybe a room, but it's like looking at the night sky without stars. It's not black, but night sky-like. Lines all throughout, nearly bluish-white with a blue tint, appear. The blueprint resembled a building blueprint. They explained, this is the quantum field. You build your reality through your thoughts and emotions in relation to this field. You send out a signal. Your thought goes to your heart. It comes out and it cycles back. I was like, okay. I'm just watching and listening, not really understanding what's happening. Then they showed me a wagon wheel-like wheel that was lying down, and I realized I was observing the center. They explained, This is you. When you come into the world, you are pure love, and you're spending your energy to have experiences. I saw cords coming out from my heart, which I thought was my energy, to this outer rim or screen around me. I saw boxes on the screen, almost like miniature TV screens, and I realized they were experiences saved as data. They then explained, you can have your life. You don't have to wait to have your life review. You can have it now. It's called ascension. They then discussed evolution and how humanity will bring all of its energy back into the present moment to evolve into a higher state of consciousness. Much of this will be explained later. They're showing me these wires going out and telling me that you may recollect this energy and use it, that you're spending love to experience this location in numerous ways. Next, they point out in the distance at a credit card with a missing corner and a circuit on it like a computer motherboard. It was said, this is your divine blueprint. When you're ready, this will help you restore and recircuit your system by attaching your belief and your thought to understand that this is your identity, that you are this. So in other words, when you're ready to believe that you are more than the world, this is here. It's here for you. It's like a get out of the matrix free card, but naturally, once you become aware of what you're creating, you're responsible and accountable for that. But there's a time where we're all just looking to break out of that trauma, and my divine blueprint was there, and I understood they explained to me that every single person has one. It's the image of Creator they were made in. And what they need to do is unsubscribe to the identities the world is giving them and their trauma is giving them, and start believing they are this. They are the image of Creator they were made in. This is going to start to reorganize, help their system heal. So that faded. Next, I see a triangle coming at me with whitish blue energy with points on each tip and one in the center. They told me, this is Father God, Heavenly Father. This is Mother God, Divine Mother. Make them one, and they'll have a son. They then told me, you have a son in your center, in your heart, but it is also a generator of quantum energy. It can oscillate depending on what it's fed to create the embodiment or character you want to play. So there really is a system behind the thoughts I'm feeding to my body. They stated that this is 0 point, the maximum ground condition, and a circuit that everyone is linked to but we cut ourselves off from. I witnessed that left father-mother-son cycle and took from that experience before leaving. It was like trying to remember where you left your keys or wallet and saying, I know something happened or I know it was there, but where is it, or what you ate for lunch last 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday or last week on a Monday? You know you ate lunch. I can't recall what I ate, but it influenced me my whole life while I wasn't aware of how sensitive I was to certain thoughts and things. It was tough, so I grew up regular at 11. Not normal. We had problems. Many exist. I often feel like I wasn't loved like a child. I started remembering these recollections about 11 or 12. Once I sit with the being and talk to them, I'm like, wow, something did happen, and I find it self-confirming. Not a lie, something happened. Thus, it begins with the person sitting with me and then brings back memories of what we talked about and what I experienced. After trying to talk about this with someone, I discovered it made me more awkward, made me feel less accepted, and wasn't something I wanted to keep talking about, so I kept it to myself. Maybe it's just a memory or something I did. Years later, I'm having surgery, and I've had many more car accidents. I flipped the car 5 times at 75 miles per hour, not sure how many kilometers that is, played sports, and was in a lot of physical pain from all the things I'd done to my body. I also had a dark spot with my thoughts and emotions. Thus, I'm commencing the procedure in bed. I hadn't had medicine yet, and I was panicking for no reason, but I wanted to get up and leave. When I sat up to leave, an energy started at my feet and spiraled around me like the most beautiful, pure, warmest, perfect love. Whatever this is, I'll never leave. Then the voice really sat me down and said, Stephen, put your head down. Everything's going to be all right, just like at 4. The excitement sat me down and, all done. When those 2 moments collided, I understood it was the being that talked to me when I was 4, and that moment it became true. Visions start before I go in, and my body feels feelings like sadness, fear, worry, tension, joy, peace, and love. Boom, 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 and I'm experiencing visions so quick I can't place them. So I had surgery, and a few days later I felt and saw energies, beings, spirits, and things like that out of the corner of my eye. It scared me enough to go back to the doctor. I started yelling at him, "What did you do to me?" But I had an awakening and was open to more. Through this, I'm hoping to return to work. Some nights I had these balls of light in my chamber, and I thought, am I crazy? Was I sleeping? What's up? I'm awake. There's no lamp or reflection. I was going through the motions of being dubious, but the ball of light was still there, moving around. That happened several times, and then I saw full-on silhouettes or outlines of individuals walking back and forth, which terrified me. At first, I felt I was haunted, but no, I started telling them to leave. I heard their telepathic response. I understood their words, and most of them were nasty. Some shapes were hazy, some lighter, some darker, so whatever energy they held was reflected. So it took me long to realize I'm not being haunted. This is happening through me. These spirits were stating things I told my younger self. You're not good enough. You're never going to do anything with your life, etc. I realized it's being sent through me and distorted so I can. I'm seeing my trauma speaking with my body in real time. That's when I decided to tune out my thoughts and feelings. Then, a few weeks later, these beings appeared in my chamber, and I could feel their energy but not see them. Their presence changed my whole state, and they were in the corner. They said they were from the Galactic Federation, Arcturians, and came to help me heal and teach me about humanity's growth, ascension, and what people will experience in the following years. Yes, I said, yeah, whatever, dude. Go away. I told him, just leave me alone, because I was still experiencing a lot and questioning my sanity. They departed, and I grabbed up my phone and looked up some of what they told me. I thought, maybe it's real because I'm finding it here, and here. Back at work, a few weeks or months later, I'm starting to hear people's thoughts, sense what they're thinking by how it feels, and then interpret it as a thought. Since I was the manager, people came up to me, so I practiced this. In my brain, I said, "Do you want a bag with that? Would you like a bag?" Then I asked them out loud and saw what matched, so I thought there was something going on. I became aware of people's hunger, which was fun to discover. Asking people, "Hey, are you hungry today?" terrified a few individuals. While at work, I started laughing or sobbing without control, which was really alarming. I quit my job to work with seniors, which gave me a sense of service and helped me connect with Creator. Before I leave my job, a woman falls outside my store. Elderly and in agony, she falls on concrete and pavement. I arrive to find her crying and moaning. I inform the other individual that I saw her first. Whoever comes out of the store next door, call someone. Before the paramedics arrive, I put my hand on her back, and she says, "I'm all warm, and I have no pain." That shook me out, and I was like, what just happened? I felt the warmth move up my arm. However, to fall on the cement and declare, "I'm all warm, and I have no pain," made me think, what? What's happening? I went back to my desk and pondered about it for a while. That compounded the things that didn't make sense with my reality. I only knew to work, you're Steve. A few days later, I'm sitting in my yard when I'm taken out of my body and addressed by these beings. Now, while they're talking to me again about how to wire my nervous system for a direct current and 0 point so I can leave the matrix and heal my cellular memory, I'm trying to control my polarity. So they're telling me how to do and link stuff. I was in terrible agony and taking pain medicine to go to work, but now I take nothing. I thought, man, my pain just melted instantly and understood it was my tune. I was hurting because of my energies, not my body. This is when I started dedicating myself to healing myself and got more serious about it, when I felt no pain and knew I was back in the space I touched when I was 4 and could bring heaven to me. So many supernatural events. Several individuals called me saying, "Oh, I thought maybe you could help this person or this person," and slowly the healing began, and I made it my life. Let's check if I'm missing anything. A lot. They teach me how to wire myself right, so I'm not in this alternating current where my trauma and emotions push and pull me, and I'm grounded. Again, they entered my room, and I listened. After realizing they were real and that humanity will change, I was more serious and courteous. They helped me apply what I saw, the Trinity, Father, Mother, Son. the divine design, and the quantum field. They showed me how to cure myself and subsequently others. I realized that was my path. Not everyone's journey is to tell people, "Hey, I saw this stuff. It works. You can do it too," and share it. I dealt with clients who had visions. They saw angels, Jesus, and heavenly beings that looked like praying mantises or alien cultures they were connected to. This was also encouraging me to believe that it's all a galactic source, not simply an Earth experience. I remember the I Am experience, when positive and negative energies become one. Father, Mother, the Son, Christ, the law of one in our heart, is activated. To represent that, we want purified energy. When I'm about to quit my job and nervous, I beat myself up, I'm hard on myself, and I drive home telling myself how useless I am and all these things. When a voice comes to my right and tells me how beautiful I am, how loved I am, how I'm already worthy, and all these people that love me, all these emotions come up, and I'm trying to shut out some of the interference by thinking those things around me were spirits when they were actually quantum projections of the self. In the process of figuring everything out, I told this voice I was attempting to ignore it. After telling it to leave me alone, it keeps loving me, and I'm discovering that I'm paying more attention because I was attempting to ignore it. I notice it's clear and loving, so I'm listening more and say, "Who are you?" And the voice say, "I am." And I'm waiting, and I'm like, never going to church, never hearing this phrase before. I say, "I am who I am." Voice repeats. I answer, "Yeah, I got that. I am who." On the third one, it felt like someone smacked me because all my memories and feelings were flowing through me at once but independently. It was simultaneous but separate, which I can't understand. I've never cried so hard in my life, and it was a reflex. I wasn't thinking. All these sights, teeters, etc. simply happened. Thereafter, I never believed in former lives. I prayed one night, "God, tell me if this is real. I'm losing my mind. Where's this coming from?" I have the vision while praying it across. If I did this before or something happened, tell me. I saw myself walking on a sandy path then. I'm seeing different pebbles, like the sun on each one. I spotted 2 rivers uniting to my left, 1 to my right, and 3 in front of me. My sandals are visible, I'm wearing a tunic, and I'm walking down this path, which ends, and I'm like, thank